welcome back to Ever So Sweetly. I'm Jessie. So if you guys are subscribed to my channel, then you will know that we just recently came back from our first ever Disney cruise. Actually our first ever cruise at all. My baby's over here eating her Cheerios. Anyways, so we just came back from our first cruise and I left that cruise with a couple of key takeaway things that I wish I would have known or that I found out on the cruise. So I just wanted to make a quick video with those 5 takeaways for you guys and hopefully they can help somebody who is planning their own cruise. Okay, so my first tip / takeaway that I have is that if you book your cruise on the Disney Visa, then you get 6 months of 0% interest or financing or whatever they call the APR. So the crazy thing is that we have actually been Disney Visa card holders for years. Like we've had the cards literally for years and I have never ever known that you can use it to book certain Disney vacations, experiences, travel packages, etc. And you get 6 months without having to pay any interest on that charge. So if you put your cruise payment on your Disney Visa, then you get 6 months that you can pay it off without having to pay any extra on that payment, which I think is way cool. And honestly, that's totally helpful and beneficial for people who want to be able to take a Disney trip. And it's gonna be easier for you to pay it off, a little bit at a time every month. And you can do this without the interest just like racking up for 6 months. So definitely something to look into. If you're not a Disney Visa member, then you might want to get the Disney Visa because you also have some other, small perks like that. So definitely look into it. I'm gonna put a link to where you can read about this on their website in the description below, so go ahead and click that also. The other cool thing is that you're able to get this perk without having to only book directly through Disney. They have some of their travel partners that you can book through and you can still get that benefit, but then you can also get the benefit from your travel partner. So for example, we booked ours through Costco. So we got the Disney Visa 6 months 0% financing. And then you also can get some perks through Costco. I don't remember exactly what they have, but they have like a Costco cash card. You get like some percentage back. So definitely something to look into if you, you want to make sure that you're getting the best deal that you can absolutely get on your Disney cruise. Okay, so tip number 2, while you are on board, if you happen to see any Disney Cruise Line merchandise that you want to get while you're on board, just get it. Don't think about it. Like, don't say, oh, I'm gonna get this later, maybe, stuff like that. So for the reason I'm saying this is because twofold. First of all, Tallulah really loves Stitch and she saw quite a few people on board with some Stitch plushies that they were selling at the store. We didn't end up going shopping for our souvenirs until it was like later in the trip. And by the time we made it to the store, they were already sold out of all of those Stitch plushies. So if you see them, something that you want, you should get it. There were a few things that I really wanted and I thought, you know what, let me really think about it. And if anything, I'll just get it at the World of Disney store at Downtown Disney later on, or I'll go online and I'll get it. This was absolutely a bad idea because we got off of the ship and that same day that we disembarked from the ship, we drove down to Downtown Disney and I was like, let me look for some of that stuff that I wanted. They didn't have any Disney Cruise Line merch in World of Disney at all, 0. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing here. So let me look online. And there was like 3 things that they had Disney Cruise Line online and none of them were the things that I was looking for. So 100%, if you see it while you're on board, if it's something you really want, then definitely get it. It's not one of those things where you can just easily get it online or get it on one of the other Disney stores. They don't have them. So get it while you're there. For example, there's this pair of ears. It was so cute. They had little life preserver things as the Minnie Mouse ears. So cute. They were beautiful. And I regret so much that I did not get those ears because they don't have them on the Disney website and they're not at the Disney store. So that was my opportunity to get them and it is now gone. All right, so tip number 3. This is basically specifically for people who are going on their first ever cruise and they don't know how they're gonna take the motion of the ship, whether or not you're gonna get seasick or not. So what I would definitely recommend doing is not getting an inside room. I would definitely get a room next time for sure that had a balcony that you could go step out and get some fresh air, or at the very least a window so that you could see like the movement. Because what happened was we had an inside room, and on the third day, from the third day on, I was so sick, and anytime I was in the room, it was literally 1,000 times worse. So when I would go out up on the balcony and you could feel the air and you could see, you know, that you're actually moving like through the water, like so much better, 90% better than when you're inside the actual room with 0 windows or anything and you can't see what's going on and all you can do is just feel everything moving. It was so much worse. So 100% for sure, I would make sure that I could have at least a window in my next room when I go on another cruise. So if you already know that you're okay and you can handle, you know, being on a ship and it's not a big deal for you, then maybe this wouldn't apply. But if you're not sure, I would get one with at least a window, because I do feel that when I got so sick for that last half of the trip, I was just so much more miserable. I couldn't enjoy all of the things that the cruise had to offer. And you're paying a lot of money for this, so you might as well pay a little bit more to make sure that you can get a window or a balcony or something to help you along. So the other thing about this is that not only did we have an inside room, but we had one that was towards the front of the ship, and apparently it's worse in the front of the ship. I didn't know this, obviously, this being my first cruise. So if you can avoid getting a room in the front, do that. And if you can get one with at least a window, 100% do that. Okay, so tip number 4 is specifically for families who have kids that are gonna wanna swim. And I'm bringing this up because in our group for Tallulah, swimming was like the thing. So that was like literally the thing. The cruise thing to do was swimming. All she wanted to do was go to the pool. All she wanted to make sure she got in was swimming. So, and when we asked her like what was her favorite part about the trip, it was swimming. So if you have kids that's the case for them, this tip is for you. So basically, it is to forewarn them that it's not always practical or available for them to be able to get in the pool. And what I mean by that is a couple of things can totally interfere with them being able to swim. So for example, depending on what time of year you're going, maybe it's going to be potentially be really cold and they're not going to want to swim or be able to swim. Although we went in January and it wasn't so bad. Like there were a ton of kids out there swimming and it really wasn't that bad. So there's that. But then there's also the fact that if the ship is moving too much, the lifeguards will just keep the pool closed. Like they won't even let them get in. So obviously that's because it's a safety hazard, like with them moving around like crazy, they're like knocking into each other. It's harder to stand. The water's going everywhere. So I get it. But like, for example, day 4, our last day at sea on the way back home, they had the pool closed for hours and hours because there was just so much motion that the kids were not allowed to get in the pool. The other thing is twice, I know that this happened twice. It could have happened more. For sure it happened twice where some child either went to the bathroom in the pool or threw up in the pool or something, because 2 times they had to drain the entire pool, clean it, and then fill it back up. And that takes time. So they'll kick all the kids out and they'll go through that process. So there's a lot of time when that happens that you're not going to be able to swim. So I would just have them understand that those possibilities can happen, so that way they're not totally disappointed when they're on board, like if that's the case. And then also remember that there are so many fun activities, especially like with the kids clubs and things that they can do in the meantime. So, you know, shift their attention to those things instead so that they're not too disappointed. And then also just a friendly reminder, if you have a baby, little ones that are not potty trained need to have swim diapers, and they're not even allowed to go in the pool. They can go in like the little splash pad area, but they have to have a swim diaper. Okay, so my 5th and final tip is to relax a little bit. So if you're like me, you want to plan everything about your vacation. You want to know exactly what there is to do, exactly what there is to eat, everything that's available to you, all the options that you're going to have, and everything far in advance so that you can make the best decisions for, you know, what you're going to do when you're there. Because if you're anything like me, you don't want to miss out on anything and like get home and then find out, oh, hey, that was a really cool thing that they had and I didn't even know it and I didn't get to do it. So, and I know a lot of people are like that, especially with the Disney vacation, just because, I mean, it's so expensive. and they have so many things going on. So obviously you want to plan, and there are people who will book these cruises like a year out or more, and they will plan everything. And if you have that option available to you where you can book early, 100% definitely do that. Look into it, research it, get the best room that you can ahead of time so where you can pick where you're going to be, all of that stuff. Totally do that. But if you're not able to, relax a little bit. You are still going to have a good time. Like I said earlier, I booked this cruise 1 week, like an actual week before it was sailing. And this is our first ever cruise and first ever Disney cruise. So I knew pretty much zero about it. Like I had seen Tim Tracker go on cruises, and so I'd known a couple of things that they have, but pretty much zero, maybe 5% about what they have. So I did spend that week as much as possible, you know, watching some cruise tip videos, Googling stuff, etc. But there was so much that we just did not know going into it. And I honestly and truly feel that it was still okay. Like we had such a great time despite that. You don't need to know absolutely everything. The app that they provide you with gives you the itinerary for that day, all the fun things that are happening. So you can check that out every single morning and see, you know, the main things that are going on that you want to make sure you get to see, like the shows or the trivia or whatever. I loved the trivia. I never won though. I wanted to win so bad. So honestly and truly, I really think that even if you don't have time to learn everything, plan everything, make every reservation, etc. before you go on this cruise, you're still gonna have such a great time. So just relax and enjoy it while you're there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's still gonna be amazing. I got super sick on ours, but I still had such a fantastic time, and it is such a fun memory for me. Like I loved the cruise. So just relax a little bit, keep that in mind, and enjoy yourself. So yeah, I feel like I could probably talk cruise all day because there was so much going on. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below and I will try to do my best to answer them. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe, and share this video with somebody who's maybe gonna go on their first cruise. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something from it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!